G'day guys, this is Jay here, Journey of a Whitefeather. A chat with Jay, Kangaroos, Koalas, Steve Irving impersonation, and I've got a bit of a dicky voice as we can hear. But we had the rally yesterday, March for Australia, and we have my great friend Katrina from the One Nation Party who was in Brisbane. Melbourne, yeah, well, we're going to talk about that. Thanks for coming on. Katrina, I think we're going to go straight into this bonus episode. We just need people to know what happened on the front line. I think a lot of people need to know what's on the front line because we know what happens with media. They love doing it. What Joel Jamal was talking about with the rocks and everything has been thrown. They tried Channel 7 or something, or was one of those channels were trying to downgrade what happened and say, oh, this didn't happen. And then the Premier went and said something too about downgrading the importance of what happened. And what they said was from the left wing. It's got, you have a look at the quote. We'll put that. I'm going to write this down so we can put it in this video.
This is what was thrown at police today, and I think Melbourne has had a gutful. I look on the social media streaming platforms of some of these issue-motivated groups that are saying police used excessive force. The fact was, these were being thrown at police. Bottles filled with shards of glass were being thrown at the police. Rotten fruit was being thrown at police. Bins were put on fire. Flags were on fire. And I think, you know, really enough's enough. People came to pick a fight with the police. The people that came to pick the fight with police were the issue-motivated groups on the left. I can tell you that the March for Australia group, they were peaceful, they were engaging, they listened to our instructions, they did what they were told, and they protested by example.
How are you?
I'm very well, very well. Thanks for having me on, Jay.
No
yes,
worries.
What a day.
Yeah, so what do you reckon? What happened? I saw some of your videos live yesterday. Tell us what happened in Brisbane. I saw Perth was good. Sydney was good. I haven't seen much from Adelaide, but
I don't think much happened in Canberra either. Look, once again, I've got to give massive shout out to the organisers for the Brisbane marches. Very well organised. Security this time was above and beyond what it was last time. Scott and the Queensland organisers did a fantastic job. Police were absolutely fantastic, you know, but I am one of those people that encourage the community to thank the police and security as we all go along.
Oh, we all do. We all do, Kat. Yeah, we all do. I mean, it's what happened in Victoria, but it's some real bad stuff. We'll talk about that later. Sorry, sorry to interrupt you about Queensland. Let's go over to Queensland.
Yeah, no, look, it was brilliant. Everybody had such a wonderful time. Everybody was there supporting each other, to be surrounded by thousands of other, you know, Aussies doing it tough, and they understand exactly why we're there. Look, there was a couple of people that kind of infiltrated their way through the crowd. Right. They've decided to have, they're having uniform changes so that they're not so easily picked out in the crowd. Let's put it that way.
How bored are you? God, how bored are you? At least, look, lefties did what they did, but you quite happily said, right, you've got the mask or whatever you're doing, you can see them, but I mean, how bored are you? Let's be honest.
Yeah. But, you know, you kind of pick them out because eventually, you know, they start to say what they say and they've got their speeches and they're just there to agitate. You know, I mean, Absolutely. They walk around with their little microphones, but they weren't really doing anything. But they got up into our face and I kind of had to hold my partner back a little.
Yeah.
You know, look, but then, you know, there was someone behind me had his words and he wasn't afraid to say, but there was also a wall in front of him, like we were there in front of him. So I'm kind of like, okay, now you got to kind of hold back now because he turned around and was literally, I can't do the salute, but he did it. Hail.
Wow, really? There's still people going around. There's still people going around saying, you know, I mean, I think, look, I'm going to ask you straight up. I saw the Queensland march has been wonderful. I mean, peaceful. And, you know, it's an absolute pleasure to see people just, you know, peacefully saying, you know, a lot of people going, I've had enough and all, but I think we all have to do our little bit, whether it be, you know, going to the marches, which we do, or putting them, they say, listen, we've had enough of this garbage. But it's a credit to you, Scott, as well. Shallow Chal, mate. Yeah, you know.
We had wonderful speakers.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Who were your speakers?
So we had like obviously the original ones from last time as well, like Dusty. Unfortunately, some personal occurrences happened and Bender couldn't make it, which was a shame. We tried as best we could right up until the last minute to help out, but that's all good. But the official speakers were Malcolm Roberts for One Nation. We had the awesome grandfather of Queensland. We've nicknamed him Mr. Bob Catter.
Oh, Carol was there. That's awesome.
I tell you what, mate, when that man shushes the crowd, you could hear a pin drop. What an amazing man. And, you know, he didn't make anybody feel like they weren't welcomed going up to him to shake his hand or have a hug, whatever. Robbie Catter was there as well. What a great speaker. He's very community minded. I loved what he had to say. Previous Senator Gerard Rennick did cheering for everyone else. I was cheering for Catter. You know, I agreed with what Rennick was only very short, but I agreed with Rennick. At the end of the day, I kind of feel like most of the majority of the minor parties were all extremely similar. And I tell you what, there was an elderly gentleman on the news tonight, and I've got to say, I disagreed with just about everything he said. He agreed with a lot of what's going on, but what he said about our party in particular, saying that we've got no policies, literally half of this book that I've got here is all One Nation policies. You know, I can literally, he said we've got nothing moving forward.
You are kidding, are you?
I don't know what planet this guy lives on. But look, over the next few months, all I can see is, you know, I think all of us small parties, there's going to be a lot more conversation between them. Not to necessarily say that they'll come together, but about backing each other.
And giving information out.
Back each other, if we all back each other, we're all stronger.
And what about giving information out? I think a lot of people they come out. I always believe it's like a fog. They come out. I've said big on creating wealth, making sure cash is king, all those kind of things. Gold, silver. If you want to get into crypto, Bitcoin's the one to go, but gold and silver. Gold's at $6,500, my friends, at a kilo.
That's crazy.
And I can tell you right now, silver is going up. Robert Kiyosaki, Sam Laurie, and a few other big investors in America have always said this thing is going to go nuts. Now, I say this as I'm not a financial consultant, but it's wealth. We're talking about wealth and looking after your family. You've got to have something to do with basically what both of us are doing is looking after our families, looking after the next generation. So what else are we looking at there, Kat? What are you going to do personally in the next couple of months? Because we talk regularly. Just to see how I was going. And as I said, influence is a load of bullshit, mate. We're not influenced. We're just passionate about having a safe, free environment for people to live their life and love their life.
All we can do is this. I guess all we can do is as a community. I'm a community. You're a community. Next door neighbours. Get together, talk, support, stay connected, because they want us to be separated. Because the less we talk to each other, the less informed we are, and then we rely on the TV. Turn off the TV. Honestly, you get more information and more truth from somewhere like TikTok these days.
All out. Yeah, exactly us. Yes.
So stay connected with people. Forget those, what they call polished politicians. I don't consider Albo polished at all, because they're bitching on Pauline right now saying she's unpolished. But you know what? She's true. Her policies have always stayed the same. She hasn't wavered. They're simple and they're easy to understand. So moving forward, I guess, communities, we need to stay involved. We need to stay connected. Get involved. If whatever party you're in has a branch meeting, or they don't have a branch meeting in your local area, call the office to say, hey, how can I get in touch with someone so as I can learn more?
It's all about learning, isn't it? Yes.
It's all about learning. Look forward to community events. You know, I don't know if there'll be another March for Australia before the end of the year. Most likely not.
But apparently it's the 26th. As I said, 26th is going to be the big one. Obviously Australia Day. So it's going to as I said,
I know we'll be having a massive one, because we're going to have something really fun to release, hopefully.
It's going to be interesting with regards to that, with all the things. As I said, WA looked pretty good. They had thousands there. Adelaide, I haven't seen anything. Brisbane was bloody amazing. You can see yourselves, Shallow Chow, mate. I tip my hat off, my friend. Melbourne, the organisers of Melbourne, I've seen them. I don't know them personally, but I've seen them, and just the passion and love for the human race, I think, and our country. That's all it is. It doesn't matter what race you are, what if you've come here for a better life.
No.
That's exactly what we're doing. We want to provide. As a community, we're going to provide that, and that's what it's all about. And I'll give you one more question. We've got a couple of minutes. One more question I want to ask you. People who are going, stuff this, I'm like, I don't give a shit. All right, I want to get on with my life. What do you say to those people? Because some people have had enough, or they're just ignorant, or whatever it may be. What do you say to those people?
Most of us have had enough, and if that question is directed in, I don't give a shit anymore, I'm not going to vote. And then at a dinner, he turned around and said, the reason why you've got someone like him in there is because you do a dick pic on your ballot paper. So,
I'll tell you what, we always used to vote for, it could be Paul Stanley or Gene Simmons from KISS or God or
Mickey Mouse. But look, at the end of the day, that vote's invalid. So if you're not going to have your say, and look, I used to say it to the one that used to keep coming through the door there. If you're not going to vote, shut up. Stop your whinging. Because
people do that. You know where it is.
You voided your voice. Everyone's voice should be heard, and that's what I'm saying. Get to your local branch meeting, speak up, have your say.
Right,
and
emails.
If you can't make it to a major event, host a barbecue with your mates and share some photos. Put it online. There's so many. There's March for Australia. I've got a Raise Your Flags page where I've got people, showing when they put the flags up on the house or on the street, share it, because all of us can't be wrong.
Want to do a big shout out to our friends and supporters at Liberty Bullion. Sammy and the team are the best gold, silver and platinum traders in Australia. Make good choices, give them a call. Back to the show.